Hello friends, my name is Satyanarayan and in this video we are going to take a look at analogies. Analogies are questions which can be asked in the English section, sometimes in the logical section as well. So what exactly is an analogy? Well, it is a comparison between one thing and another, typically for the purpose of explanation or clarification. For example, many a times we would say things like, she is as white as snow. This picture is as dark as coal. So when we compare one thing and another with some common quality, what we are doing is giving an analogy. So when you solve an analogy, you have to come up with the relationship between the two given words. For example, you might be given the word tall and giant. You read the colon as if the words are is to. So this example is to be read as tall is to giant. Now, when you think about a giant, you obviously think that it is tall. Now, how exactly do we go about solving this question? Well, when you solve an analogy, you compare the words in the four choices A, B, C, D to each other in the same way as the first pair of words. Then you ask the question, which choice is the same comparison as these first two words? So, when we say tall is to giant, we have the options A, tire is to car, B, window is to house, C, high is to mountain, and D, red is to sunset. Sometimes that helps me when I want to solve an analogy is finding out what part of speech the words are and then comparing their relationship. So in the given example of the words tall and giant, the first word, tall, describes the second word giant. A giant is tall. So the first word tall is an adjective that describes the second word giant, which happens to be a noun. So now let's once again look at the choices that we have. Tire is to car, window is to house, high is to mountain, red is to sunset. And if you are by now found out what the answer is, it has to be the third option, high is to mountain. Well, a giant is tall and similarly a mountain is high. So the noun giant has the quality of being tall. Similarly, the noun mountain has the quality of being high. Do you see the similarities between the given two pair of words and the answer option that we have selected? Well, simply put, this is how we solve an analogy. Now, the best way to deal with an analogy question is to form a full sentence that clearly shows the relationship between the two set of terms. The sentence will fall into two parts, the elements of which are clearly parallel. For example, epaulette is to what as cuff is to wrist. The options given are shoulder, decoration, soldier, or waist. Now, given the example epaulette is to what as cuff is to wrist, and the options being shoulder, decoration, soldier, and waist, we can come up with the sentence, an epaulette is worn on the shoulder just as a cuff is worn on the wrist. Now, to be able to solve this question, you must know what an epaulette or a cuff is. Well, we know that the correct answer here is A. But just for your information, epaulette is the one shown in the picture here, the thing that is often worn by soldiers on their shoulder. Similarly, the cuff is the part which is around your wrist. So just as a cuff is worn on the wrist, an epaulette is worn on the shoulder, and hence option A is the correct one. Now, given the example, graceful is to clumsy as hot is to what? Read the analogy like this. graceful is to clumsy as hot is to blank. Then ask yourself, what is the relationship between the words graceful and clumsy? Well, these words have opposite meanings. They are antonyms. So, the second pair of words must also be antonyms. Now, fill in the blank with a word that means the opposite of hot and you have solved the analogy. So, the best answer which would fit as the antonym of hot is cold. Now, there are different types of analogies that may be asked. Let us go through some of these. As already shown in the previous example, we could be asked antonyms, that is words that have opposite meanings, as in hot is to cold. The second type of analogy could be based on synonyms, words that have the same or similar meanings, as in unhappy is to sad. Both of them have pretty much the same meaning. The third kind of analogy which may be asked is something which is descriptive in nature. One word which describes the other word, as in fast is to cheetah. The word fast describes the quality of the animal, the cheetah. So we could have antonyms, we could have analogies like as fast as a cheetah, or as swift as a gazelle, or as ferocious as a tiger, and so on. One another type of question in analogies is the part is to whole. One word is a part or piece of the other, as in piece of a puzzle, page of a book, lead of a pencil, gear in a machine, and so on. We could also have analogies where we have the comparison of an item to its category. One word is an item in the category named by the other, as in baseball is in sports balls, or shirt is in apparel, or pen is in stationery, and so on. Some analogies, however, will not fit into the categories that we have just seen. For example, puppy is to dog as kitten is to what? Now here, read the analogy like puppy is to dog as kitten is to blank. The first pair of words are not related in any of the ways listed below. However, we can identify it that there is a relation between a puppy and a dog when we express it in the sentence. A puppy is a young dog, so a kitten is a young what? And the answer which obviously comes in is cat. So, to summarize what we have seen so far, identify the relation between the given pair of words, try to use the given word in a sentence and fit the asked word in the same sentence and then match with one of the answer options. You need to practice a lot to quickly get speed in establishing a sentence to identify the relation between the given pair of words. You need to work a lot on your vocabulary because only when you know the meaning of the words will you be able to identify a sentence which best expresses its relation to the other. This was a video on English reasoning with the topic being analogies. My name is Satyanarayan. Wish you all the best. Have a good day.